if you missed the show yesterday, you missed an epic day. And it rolled out in a way we didn't really see coming in 4 parts. And if you went to the podcast, you only listened to one of the parts, I really think you missed out on a pretty special day on the Bert Show yesterday. And that was Abby recapping and retelling everything that happened when she took this chance and went out to London to meet a dude that she had some chemistry with a couple of months ago. Got there. The way you told this, I've complimented her a million times. The way you told this yesterday, and your willingness to be vulnerable and also use it. I'm sure this wasn't your intention, but the teachable moment yesterday for other women, because it could have ended up way, way worse than it did. I told Abby off the air, she, I think, lived the life of this love bombing, manipulative relationship that I see a lot of people in that can happen over 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, right? This happened to Abby in the course of just a couple of months and just a couple of days in London. And I'll say that you escaped in a safe way, and it could have gone very, very sideways, but there were a lot of lessons to learn yesterday.
No, for sure. And that definitely, I don't know if I even expected for it to come out that way when I was talking at the end about how it reminded me, and again, I'm not trying to call it a domestic violence situation, but some of the signs that he was showing reminded me of women who have come on my podcast and talked about abusive relationships that they've been in and situations where they've experienced domestic violence and some of the things that experts in domestic violence spaces have talked about. And I think it's in a weird way, not kismet, because kismet's like a happy word, but like October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I think there's so many things that women can write off that can lead you into a situation that can end up being really dangerous for you. So even though, you know, I'm not happy that this situation happened in the way that it did, I am trying to cling on to the fact that I hope that everything that came out is going to do some good for somebody and that it all didn't go to waste.
And it will. I think like the lessons that one can learn from listening to your story is that having done your breakdown podcast, you know the signs. And not only did you know the signs, but you saw the signs. And not only did you see the signs, you actually reacted to the signs. So I think that's to be commended. And I think hopefully that empowers and emboldens other women not to downplay certain situations or to excuse behavior or just to justify behavior, and that it's okay to expect more, and that it's, even if you do like this, like what you did, this grandiose gesture, and I mean, you flew to another country, you're doing the most. You did the most, but you knew when to walk away.
Mm-hmm. And it's so weird that my own podcast has helped me, because I've had women, send me DMs, and of course it hits kindly when they're like, I listened to your podcast and it helped me get out of a relationship, or it gave me the courage to realize that what I was thinking wasn't crazy. And in a weird way, like it empowered me, like my own podcast helped me get out of a situation. And it like kind of reinvigorated my excitement to continue to put out stories and stuff and help women, because I think sometimes I can kind of like brush off my accomplishments and be like, well, I'm just doing this podcast where people share their breakup stories. But I think I've forgotten the impact that women talking about their experiences can have on other people, mm-hmm. and help them in a way that is potentially life-saving. So I was very cautious when I went to go look at Facebook comments and read DMs and stuff, because I think there's kind of still a small part of me that recognized I did an impulsive and risky thing, which is not characteristic of me. And I was worried I would get criticism for that, but I was pleasantly surprised that a lot of the comments were more complimentary than critical.
Well, I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Let's not. Yeah, I mean, the percentage of people that were inspired by it compared to the few people that were critical of it it's not even.
No,
you can't even measure
100%. But of course, you see one thing and you're like, you start to feel the voices in your head that are telling you did something wrong get loud when you hear someone else say it.
Yeah, these are the same people that say, well, you put yourself in a dangerous situation, so it's your own fault that it happened. No, you should be able to back out of any of those situations,
That's
right?
victim blaming at its
Yeah,
finest.
or you're drinking too much, or what did you expect? Like, you don't live in of course he was going to think that. So of course, when you see that one or two times, it turns up the volume of those thoughts in my head. So I thought I would read some of the ones that hit home with me. I have a bunch, but I'll try and keep it brief because I know we're running out of time. But the first one I saw is from a user named Samantha Pinson. She said, I just listened to this with my 15-year-old daughter. We were not expecting the ending. You told it beautifully, and we're sorry for your pain. But I, as a mother, am so glad you told it just like you did. My daughter and I had a great conversation about not ignoring red flags. I'm sad to say I would have ignored them when I was younger, but because of your bravery, her self-worth grew more. Because of women like you, my daughter has more self-worth than I ever did at her age. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so proud of her and of you.
Wow.
Oh,
That's powerful.
That is very powerful.
So, and that's the ones that you need to focus on.
100%. And I think self-worth is really what a lot of relationship issues come down to. That's something I've learned from talking to so many experts. And I think that is what gave me, of course, the signs I recognized. But I think at the end of the day, like, my self-esteem and self-confidence was so high that day that I was looking at him. I was like, how dare you treat me like that? And that's what got me to walk out. Of course, the signs and stuff, but also just the fact that I was like, I'm a prize. What the heck are you doing? This is from Jennifer LaRose. She said, I hope that there are some women who listen to this entire story who have been ignoring red flags from a significant other and just had a moment of realization and empowerment. My heart is broken for Abby, but she told this story. But how she told the story was perfect. Women often overlook warning signs for a number of reasons. They convince themselves they're overreacting, or that this is normal male behavior, or that they themselves somehow did something wrong. Abby overcame all of that, trusted her gut, and got out. But she told the story in a way most women do when they're in the intoxicating beginning of romance. She glossed over warning signs until the end and showed us that this can happen to anyone at any time. I think this will make me pay more attention to the women in my life and how they talk about their relationships. I'm so proud of Abby for telling the story in this way, even though I know it's extremely difficult. I truly think it will have a positive impact on other women.
Your gut doesn't lie. Your gut doesn't lie. Your head lies. But your gut knows. So do you want to listen to the signs and bail, or do you want to ignore them and you listen to them?
When you find yourself justifying things, when you find yourself talking more than feeling, that's, I think, the biggest sign. This is from Shantae Sheree. She said, I appreciate the way she told the story with the honest emotions and excitement she had in real time. This is so important for others to experience how fast something can turn around in the moment. The fact that she didn't taint the story with the emotions she felt at the end shows how honest the story was, because this is how it goes in real life. It also shows that she is a successful journalist. Everything is going good until it isn't. I'm glad she's safe and told the story with honesty. She didn't pretend she had more insight than she did until she had it. That's storytelling at its best. She took you through all the honest emotions of the experience from beginning to end, and I can't express the appreciation for it. When she got to the end talking about wanting the mind and life of feeling safe, I looked over at my husband, who frustrates me to no end, but who would never let anything happen to me. Abby, you the man.
I don't know what else to say except much respect for you the entire way. I am one that believes that life is supposed to be lived big. So when you went and you took a risk, I know that you have a good enough head on your shoulders that there were precautions, safety precautions in place for sure. And you went to go live big. And I said at the outset, not even knowing what the outcome was, that was the win. That you went for it, right? And the fact that you followed your gut the entire time, were 100% vulnerable and honest, and so many people took away so many lessons from it. Just much respect for you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who sent me DMs. I've tried to respond to as many as possible, but if you're hearing this and I haven't responded to you, thank you for taking the time to listen and to message me your stories. I hope someone got something out of it.
The Bert Show.